It finished earlier today at Tynecastle. Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0, and there's not much I can say about this game apart from the fact it was fucking shite. Welcome back, guys, to Son of Scotland TV. That is pretty much the match review. Game absolutely sucked. We drew 0-0. We didn't deserve to win. Lucky to get a point. Let's wrap it up and let's go home. That's what I could say, but instead I'll try and force like 3 or 4 minutes. I was going to say positivity, but there's no chance I can be positive about this game. I mean, the only goal that we should have had was the penalty, potentially, that didn't even check for. Now, I'm not saying it was a penalty. I didn't see enough angles of it, but what pisses me off is why the fuck do we have VAR then not using it? I just don't understand it, man. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever, but it's Scottish football, so of course we're not allowed to make sense, but we pay all this money to bring in the technology, and then half the times it's not even deemed worthy of going to the footage. It's like, surely there should be some rule that if there's a decision to be made inside the box, then VAR automatically gets checked. If a player is appealing for something, then I think they should look at it. Because obviously there is something to appeal for. If not, the player's going to look like an idiot. I think nowadays, with VAR, if the player is appealing for a penalty, there's at least a case for one. Because you can't just throw yourself to the ground and dive these days, and then make a big deal out of a potential penalty, and then it goes to the VAR, and you just look like an absolute cheat. You can't do that. So I think nowadays, if there is any sort of like decision in the box, I think there's no harm in checking it, but for whatever reason, they decided not to check it. It looked like Shankland was being grabbed. I thought the defender for Kilmarnock, if it might have been, was it Robbie Dees? I think he had his arms around Shankland. Was there enough to make Shankland go down? I don't know. If we looked at VAR, we could have got a better look at it, but both the referee, video assistant referee, none of them could be arsed. So they just thought, you know what, fuck it, this game's not important, let's move on. And I don't blame them, the game was crap. Maybe they just wanted to get the 90 minutes over with and go home as quickly as possible. Kilmarnock had a couple of chances, nothing clear-cut in the first half, a few headers. We had a long-range distance shot for Haring, but I mean, that is pretty much it. That is the pick of the chances, really. It was slim pickings in this game, it really was. I mean, not so good to start the season. You look at our start to the season, in fact, what have we done? We looked okay against St Johnstone. I thought we played decent against St Johnstone, but the problem is, St Johnstone are crap. So everyone's going to look half decent against St Johnstone. Today and against Rosenborg, we've looked awful. We have looked fucking terrible. So yeah, I am a little bit worried here. St Johnstone, we looked okay, but again, you know, I expect every team and their granny to look okay against St Johnstone. So how much positivity can you really take for that? You know, it's not a lot, in my opinion. St Johnstone are going down. We all know that. So I'm not going to pretend that a 2-0 win over them was the best thing I've ever seen. It certainly wasn't. But that is definitely our best performance out of the competitive games. That St Johnstone game is head and shoulders better than anything else we've seen. We were so poor today. We were fucking very poor today. And we looked lively, I think, when Fargas came on. I think Fargas looks a decent player. But we just did not create enough. We didn't deserve to win this game. And a 0-0 draw at Tynecastle, any sort of draw at Tynecastle is not good enough. Unless it's the old firm, then it's a poor result. There is no excuse. Anything other than a victory at Tynecastle is a bad result. The only way I would accept a draw is if it's towards the end of the season and we're in front of it, like maybe someone chasing us for third, and then you can consider a draw a decent point because you're maintaining the gap. But other than that, unless we're drawing against Celtic or Rangers, then a draw at Tynecastle is a bad result. And I'm not accepting this 0-0. Yeah, Kilmarnock, I think, look decent. I've tipped Kilmarnock to finish top 6. I said last season that they were good, and if they could improve on their away form, then they would be a threat. And they improved on their away form today, because this was a good performance. And if I had to edge it to someone, I would edge it to Kilmarnock. If I had to say who was the better team, who deserved the 3 points more, it probably was Kelly, because they were on the away side and they probably created more chances overall than we did. They were hard to break down, they're compact, they're good at set pieces, they're just a difficult team to play against, and I think Derek McInnes doesn't really get the credit he deserves as a manager. You know, he done really good at Aberdeen for a bit, and then he's took over Kilmarnock, and he's doing good with them as well. So yeah, no, I mean, good for Kilmarnock. It's a good point for them. They must be laughing, they must be flying, you know. 2 games in, they've got 4 points. We also have 4 points, but we had an away game against St Johnstone and a home tie against Kelly, so we should be on 6 points. You know, this is 2 points dropped for us, 100%. And it's just disappointing. And, a chance to go to the top of the table alongside Celtic and St Mirren, and we don't take it. And we've no one's fault but ourselves. With no one but ourselves to blame. And now this game against Rosenborg, it feels close to a must-win. I feel like we need a good performance. Even if we don't win against Rosenborg, but we play good and we deserve to win, then that's something. But if we go out against Rosenborg looking shite, then it's a worrying start to the season. And I'm not optimistic. I did not want this team. I did not want this trio. I didn't want rid of Robbie Nielsen. I said last year Robbie Nielsen should have stayed. We got rid of him, and did we bring in a good manager? Did we bring in someone with experience? No, we brought in 3 fucking people that don't know what they're doing. And today did not look good. It didn't. I'm happy enough with the signings. I think the signings were made look okay. But I'm just not convinced this freeway setup is the way to go. I'm not convinced, and the 2 competitive games against Kilmarnock today and against Rosenborg haven't convinced me anymore. And let's be honest, the St Johnstone result was okay, but it wasn't great. I mean, it is St Johnstone at the end of the day. I mean, come on, St Johnstone are pretty fucking shite. Plus, we did go 75 minutes without scoring against St Johnstone as well. So, there's a lack of goals in this team. We have played what? We've played full 90 against Kilmarnock and then 75 against St Johnstone with no goals. That's worrying. That is very worrying, considering St Johnstone are the worst team and we're at home against Kelly. So, I would have liked to have seen goals. Obviously, I would have liked to have seen a win. We did not get it. We'll have to move on to the next game. And up next, it's Rosenborg, Thursday night, Tynecastle. Can we turn it around? I hope so. I think we can. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm, confident, because I'm not. I mean, it really could go either way. Anyway, guys, that's it. Sorry for the negative review. Just not a lot of positive things to add about today. Kind of disappointed with it. Don't really want to talk about it. Shite day, shite result, shite game. And already we found ourselves 2 points off the top of the table. So that's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.